Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I'm doing my review of Ezra and Nehemiah. This is the new game from Garphill Games, Shem Phillips and S.J. McDonald, of course. And so this is a Euro game, a little bit of worker placement, engine building, set in a biblical theme. Now, I'm not too familiar with this theme, so I couldn't really tell you how the game played thematically. But let me just go over how the game plays. I'm not going to go over everything, but I'm going to go over enough to show you how the game works and what the mechanisms are, and then I'll let you know what I think about it. So essentially, you're going to pick a color, and you're going to have these 10 cards. Now, each card is going to have a banner color at the top left. It could be either red, gray, or blue. Sometimes they can mix different colors together. And they're also going to have at the top of the card actions that happen during the Sabbath, and on the bottom, trader actions. Again, I'll go over all those in a little bit. Now, on your turn, you're going to play one of these cards onto your board. You have a board with 3 slots, and you're going to place one of those workers on that board. Now, there's going to be 6 turns in the game. The 7th turn is going to be a day of rest, and that's going to end the round. So you're going to have 6 turns each round. On the board, there's going to be these different locations. There's going to be the walls and the gate. Now, at the start of the game, you're going to place one of your workers at one of the gates, one of the 4 corners. If you're playing with 4 players, they're all going to be filled. If you're playing with 3 or under, you're going to have these little white meeples that will be placed there instead. You'll also see those on other parts of the board as well. I'm going over as if we were playing a 4-player game. Now, on the board, you're going to have, like I said, the walls and the gate. Those are going to be associated with the gray banner. There's going to be another area that's going to be the temple, where that's going to be associated with the red banner. And then there's the area with the tents and the teaching the Torah. That's going to be associated with the blue banner. Now, on your board, you're going to have these other spots as well. And everybody's going to start with all these little farm tiles and others that can be upgraded. Like I said, I'm not going to go over everything. But on your turn, when you play that card, you're going to play it for the banner. You're going to add up the number of banners you have, and that's going to be your strength for that turn. So let's say you want to do the red banner. Depending on how many red banners are on that card, you're going to first, you can place a Levite, a wooden meeple, onto that area, which will actually give you higher strength red banner actions. But the way you place them there is if you have to pay in food, and then you would take the resource for playing. So you could stack them up high, and then you can build the temple. Now there's gonna be a few different types of resources. Again, I forget the name, but it's a black cube, brown cube, gold cube, and the white cube. You cannot use the black cube to build the temple, as I think it was that resource or that type of stone was not really well used in construction back then. Again, I don't know the reason thematically. So depending on which stone you put, you're going to get victory points for that. And on the temple, depending on the player count, again, it's going to change. Once you fill up a certain shade, certain rewards are going to be given, and you're going to follow that on that track. Also, when you place them, you have to place them at the farthest left spot in the row, and then just continue. Again, for placing something in that row, you're going to get a resource or some kind of prize. Now, when it comes to building, you're going to use the gray actions to first. You have to remove the rubble that's from the gate or the wall area. Now, depending on what kind of resource it is, it's gonna need a certain amount of gray banners. Once you have that amount, then you can clear the rubble and put that into your own resource pool. Now, your resource pool is going to be limited until you upgrade it, but you can have an excess amount on your turn. If you still have left over, then you have to discard them. So when you clear the rubble from a wall or gate area, then you can build that wall or gate area if you have enough gray banners and the resources left over. Once you build a wall area, you'll get a resource prize, whatever it could be, Also, I didn't mention, when you clear the rubble, you can get a blessing that's going to be on your board. As you move up on the blessing track, you will get a resource. There's 3 different types of blessing. There's red, purple, and yellow. Now, when you build a wall, like I said, you're going to get the resource for it, and there's going to be end game victory points also for it. You can also get immediate victory points for building that wall. Now, the gates are the cards are going to be set to the side. All gates are going to cost the same amount of money. And during the course of the game, during trader actions, sometimes coins can be put on these gates. Now, if somebody builds a gate, they're going to put a gatekeeper on there, their own wooden meeple, and if somebody needs to pay a coin to that gate, they will get that resource. Unless you build the gate, whatever coins are on there become yours. Now, if a gate is built, when somebody builds a wall next to that gate, it's going to start a connecting wall gate action, and you're going to get, the person who built the wall is going to get the resource that's listed on top of that gate, and the person who's a gatekeeper will also get that resource. Now, if you build it, you only can collect those resources once, but also somebody could build it to the left and right, and again, those people will get those resources. So that's essentially how building the gate works. Now, the last one is the blue banner, which is teaching the Torah. Now, at the bottom of the Torah area, you have the 3 heroes. Now, whoever builds that gets those heroes first by using the Torah, the blue banner action, is going to get the immediate resource that's listed at the bottom of that card, depending on which round you're in. As the rounds go up, the resources get a little bit stronger. So it could behoove you to wait to get those heroes. But once you get those heroes, you're going to tuck them underneath your player board and show the banner. So you're going to have that banner, that one banner power for the rest of the game, whether it's blue, red, or gray. So that's the first section. Now, the game is going to change every time you play, because you're going to put out random tiles every game. So the first row is just the heroes. The last 2 rows are going to be the wood, and the top row at the top is going to be the gold. Those are for end game scoring. The middle, the second and the third row are for passive abilities that can happen to you. Again, there's a whole bunch, but I'm not going to go over them. Now, when you build on those levels, there has to be somebody below it. If there's an opposing player below those areas, you have to pay them 1 coin for every part that they connect. You can't pay yourself. But then you could also choose who you want to pay depending on how it's connected. So if there's 2 different meeples connecting, you choose who you want to give that coin to. So there's that player interaction there. Another thing that you can do with the blue banner is move the tent around in that area. I believe that's also teaching the Torah. I forgot. But every area that you pass, you're going to collect that resource. Again, there's going to be a bunch of things, the blessings, victory points. You can get an additional worker, because you start the game with 6 workers. And there's a bunch of others in the bag. So, as you pass that, you're going to constantly start getting more workers into your area. Now, after 6 turns, there's going to be the Sabbath. During the Sabbath, you're going to have to feed all those workers. So whoever is out there working, and any workers that you did not use that round, is going to be put onto your player board to do certain farming abilities or other things like gaining resources or gaining food. All those workers, including the ones that are on the main board, except the Levites, have to be fed. If you cannot feed those workers with the bread resource, then you're going to lose 2 victory points for each worker that you cannot feed. So you can get messed up. Another thing I didn't mention, and I forgot, was on the red banner action. Besides building the temple and the Levites, you can actually go to the altar and burn certain resources. You can only burn wood, which is the brown, and stone, which was the white, or the black. Now, those will move you up on that track, on the altar track. On the altar track, there's going to be these 2 meeples. I think one was white, the other was gray or black. I forgot. No, one was gray, the other was black. Now, depending where you are at the end of the Sabbath, if you're behind the black meeple, you're gonna lose something, whether it could be food or victory points. If you're in between, you're gonna usually gain a blessing or something good. If you're ahead of the gray meeple, then you're going to get something even better. Again, it's gonna change from game to game. There's different cards, and you can choose which altar side you want. So that adds to the replayability. This is going to go on for 3 rounds. And again, after 3 rounds, whoever has the most points wins. Another thing I didn't mention was on your turn, you have additional action. You have an auxiliary action where you can place one of your workers on your board as an elder or a farmer, which which can give you extra resources for that turn. Or if you use an elder, they give you an additional banner or 2 for that turn, depending on which banner that you want. Then you can use the trader action that's on the bottom. And again, I'm not going to go over everyone is different. After that, you're going to take one of the cards that you played. So at each turn, you're playing more cards on that board, and some are going to be covered. The reason those cards are out there is because they're going to measure how many banners are out on your board, and that's going to give you the strength. So when there's 6 cards on the board, that lets you know that the round is coming to an end. So you have to be wise in choosing who you want to, which cards that you want to cover. Because as do I want to have a stronger red action later on, so I'll just cover the gray action, and so forth. Now at the Sabbath, after you feed everyone and you do the altar action, you're gonna take one of your those cards that you played, and you're going to tuck them on your player board, and revealing only the Sabbath symbol and the banner. So that banner is gonna be there for the rest of the game. Also, you're gonna take the action of that Sabbath symbol, and it's going to activate each Sabbath. Now, on the second turn, you're going to take 2 cards and tuck them there. And then the third turn, it's going to be 1. So that's essentially how the game plays. Again, there's other little things. I didn't go over everything. I maybe missed some small stuff. But again, that's how the game plays. It's probably one of the heaviest in their collection. I think, again, it's not complicated. It's just that there's so many actions and so many strategies that you can take. So let's go into what I dislike about this game. I mean, they just had an Instagram post on how to pack the game, because again, this is the small box like it was with Architect. So as you can see, it's in there pretty good. So it's sticking out. But they did make an Instagram post on how to properly pack everything away. The artwork is going to be a little subjective here. I always found this art, because some of Hadrian's Wall was like this, Raiders of City was similar to this. I know the Circadian games are like this. I do find it a little stiff, but it does work here. I think the whole gray, the ancient desert feeling, it looks well with this. I think out of all the games that this artist has done, I think Ezra and Nehemiah has been my favorite so far. But yeah, again, the artwork is going to be a little subjective. The game is also long. I'm going to say this right now, I think 4 players is the way to play this game. It's going to go more than 2 hours. And especially if somebody has AP, this is an AP prone game for sure, because of how many actions there are there. Our first game went close to almost 3 hours. And it probably would have went longer. And again, the teach is not bad. Everything's very straightforward. You could teach this game in about maybe 10 to 15 minutes, but it's still going to be a pretty long game because of all the actions that each person can do on their turn. Aside from that, what I really like about this game is it's very crunchy. The scores were always very close-knit. I love the amount of actions that you can take. So it pretty much takes every single Garphill game and all the mechanisms from those games and puts them together. So you get a little bit of Paladins in there. You get a little bit of maybe Viscounts, a little bit Architects. I think Architects is actually a little mean. There's no meanness in this game besides maybe taking a spot from somebody. But, you still want to be paying attention to what everyone else is doing. So it's not really a multiplayer solo game, even though you're doing a lot of stuff on your own. You want to see who's building what gate, who's taking what wall, where's somebody going up on this track. So there is that competitiveness here. So this is not a multiplayer solo game at all, and which is what I really like. Another thing, the replayability is really high with this game. You're going to have those different tiles out every time. There's the different altar cards. There's 2 different altar cards with 2 different sides. So the strategies are going to change each game. And, that tenseness, oh, I got to feed my people, worrying about, do I have enough food? Am I high up on that altar track while, trying to focus on other things? Some people might not like it. I like it. I like that tenseness. I guess that's similar to Year of the Dragon. I heard is very similar in that aspect where, you know, you can get hurt pretty bad. You can get hurt pretty bad in this game if you don't feed your workers. You know, you got 3, 4, 5, 6 guys out there and you can't feed and no food resources. You can easily lose 10, 15 points, which can be crucial because it can be a high-scoring game, but every game has been very close. So you want to be mindful about not losing those victory points. Like I said before, it's a very crunchy, tight game. I love all the actions that you can take. I think I'm starting to like this just a tad bit more than Scholars of the South Tigris. And I like Scholars a lot. But this one is, I think, a little bit better for me. Again, maybe more plays of both Scholars and this one, and Ezra and Nehemiah. But I know Scholars is having an expansion. I don't think there's any expansions planned for this game because there's already a lot going on. You know, do I think it's the heaviest I've played from them? Absolutely. But it's not heavy because it's rules heavy. It's just that there's so much going on. There's so many different strategies. You don't know where, which leads to that AP. Like I said, this is going to be an AP game. But I am having a lot of fun with it. I love Garphill Games. I'm not a Euro gamer. I'm going to say it over. Like, I'm not Euro games. I'm not the type of games I'm going to be, you know, looking for or looking to play. But Garphill Games has always, put good stuff out since Raiders of the North Sea I've been playing, which I adore. You know, or the West Kingdom series was awesome. You know, this new series, I'm having a lot of fun with the South Tigris series. And sometimes they have these games off to the side. Like, you know, I haven't played Hadrian's Wall. The Circadians game are really good. And, you know, now we have Ezra and Nehemiah. And again, I think this is a really great game. Again, I can't tell you if the game fit thematically because I'm not familiar with this theme. The people I played with aren't familiar with this theme. But it plays like a typical Euro, you know. So I don't know if the theme was particularly strong. Now, the people I played with, 2 of them are heavy Euro gamers. They thought the game was good. They thought it was fine. Both of them gave it a 7. Another person gave it a 9. I'm coming in at an 8.5 out of 10. This is a great Euro game. I think it's a lot of fun. It's very crunchy. If you're looking for a crunchy Euro game, you're going to find it here. Again, especially if you're a fan of Garphill Games, I think you're going to enjoy this game a lot, like I am. And, you know, I always look forward to stuff that they put out. You know, Inventors is coming out now later this year. I'm looking forward to that. But, yeah, this game is just a lot of fun. I think it's going to be one on my top 10 of the year. We'll see. But, yeah, a nice, meaty, crunchy Euro. You know, if you're looking for that game that gives you a whole ton of actions, a lot of different strategies, it's going to be this one right here. That's going to do it for today, guys. So please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. I always answer them. But, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the review. Until next time, keep on playing.